possession and use of firearms as a social issue. Introduction. Social issues are divisive concerns with some legal involvements. People tend to have varying opinions concerning such issues. Private ownership and use of firearms is a social issue following the support and condemnation it elicits within communities. Gun control bans private citizens from accessing, using, importing, ferrying, producing, or selling firearms. Most countries have established varied legislation to restrict the use of guns and other firearms. Numerous reasons are behind these restrictions. Evidently, guns are dangerous weapons that require stringent regulations and care issued by the concerned authorities. Notably, there are two sides to the argument on the gun control phenomenon. This incorporates whether private use of guns should be banned or permitted by authorities. Definition of key terms. Social issues, controversial and debatable issues in the life aspects. People tend to have varying opinions on such matters, with some supporting while others disagreeing. Firearms, artificial ammunition. Gun control, legislations to ban private possession and use of firearms or guns. Legislation, legal matters surrounding an issue. Assertive thesis. This paper supports the gun control phenomenon based on numerous arguments fronted in a while. The detrimental effects of guns and other firearms have contributed to the governing of their use. The mission started long ago, with countries like the US and Germany pioneering the mission. It is important to agree that guns act as defensive weapons. Nonetheless, their dangers, irreversible effects, and undisciplined use by the public have made it necessary to enact stringent control on this significant gadget. Major supports. Handling of guns requires control, as agreed earlier. It is evident that, without the use of guns, the government and its law enforcers might find it difficult to execute authority over their subjects. Additionally, one might debate that it is right for the public to possess firearms. However, it is from a safety viewpoint that the arguments for gun control rest. A situation where everybody can access and use a gun might be chaotic. Evidently, it deteriorates the security of others, as those who have guns might threaten the lives of others who do not. Although other weapons exist equally that might threaten lives, the issues of guns and ammunition are severe. Concurrently, private owners and other rebellious militia might operate guns inhumanly, causing substantial harm and terror to the masses. Guns should be left to the forces and other licensed users to ensure their responsible use. Private users of firearms might use them in other duties apart from the usually claimed self-defense. The use of guns should meet some restrictions, and only authorized users should assume its use. Dangerous weapons require regulations and massive bans, since firearms might brutalize domestic violence, resulting in more deaths and injuries from gunshots. The benefits of gun control outweigh those against it, with arguable reasons apart from mere claims. The control of firearms is for the good of the common people. The instances of mass murder witnessed ages ago in most regions globally support the quest for gun control. Private possession and the use of guns are inappropriate. Another argument why the gun control phenomenon is justifiable is that the gadget requires adequate training to know its use and ethics virtuously. Such training occurs in the military places. Military officers undergo appropriate training on how and when to use this dangerous firearm. Conversely, the fact that privatized firearm owners have not undergone such induction is disadvantageous. Another critical argument in this context is the reduction of violence. Accessing guns might easily lead to an increase in violent instances. Evidently, accessing guns might fuel acts of violence among the masses. This phenomenon is not virtuous as perceived by others. Additionally, the mishandling of the gadget might lead to the owners killing themselves. A death from a bullet is only a trigger; a mere pull of the trigger might be detrimental. From these aspects, it is agreeable that the gun control mechanisms are justifiable. Trained officers who can control their tempers despite the situation should use firearms. Additionally, the issue of violence has increased among communities who can access guns easily. Evidently, countries that have banned the use of guns among private entities have prospered remarkably. Acknowledging opposing views. Despite the dangers of guns to lives, it is instrumental in the realms of self-defense against enemies and in aiding governance in most countries. People who defy the moves to disarm the public view the gun control phenomenon as a move to disarm the freedom fighters so that the authorities can have an easy rule on them. Nonetheless, it would be interesting if everybody could get firearms so that people operate on equal grounds. These form the view of those who support the gun acquisition quest. Conclusion. Conclusively, possession and use of firearms are contentious according to the arguments fronted by this paper. It is a social issue and a debatable phenomenon since some people support it while others do not. Free access to firearms increases violence, deaths, and other devastating factors. To be precise, it is arguable that the use of guns requires control in legislation spheres. The claims of self-defense among the activists who need the acquisition and use of guns to be free are baseless. Evidently, disarming citizens and leaving the use of guns and other firearms to the trained authorities is important.